With lofty heights I'll take to build a nation where peace and justice shall reign.
My name is Olaniyi. I'm the Nigerian correspondent for Beyond News. Beyond News is an affiliate of Z Media Limited, Noida, India. And my Indian name is Priyanka. I am a Nigerian. I hate breakfast. And I'm a multi-billionaire. A round of applause for me. So you should know which one is a lie and it's a truth.
My name is Olaniyi. I represent News Technologies. I don't know if this is a lie or the truth. I'm the tallest man in Nigeria.
My name is Ayokunle Bankole. I am the MD at Sabi Networks. We are an internet service provider and network infrastructure company. I am the chief coach of the Nigerian Super Eagles.
So it's my pleasure and privilege to be here to share an overview of our 2023 survey to us as an organization. Feedback analysis is very key to us. We want to feel your pulse. The service we run over the years, especially for the year under review, we want to know your satisfaction level. Also want to know your future expectation so that we can be able to design a proactive and innovative service for you. Now, let's check out the network study. You said that in terms of network stability, how our teams have been able to stabilize the network. Of course, when the network is stabilized, you get performance in your service delivery. 43% said we did excellent. 44% say we did very, very good. 9% say we did good. Of course, negligible 3% say we are fair. Or 1% say, of course, poor. So with this, you can be rest assured that you have given us a very, very fantastic appraisal. So put your hand together for us. Do you consider ISP port charges and fees and other fees commensurate with the value received? The value received, how does it align with the fees? 41 of them say yes, which translates to 58% of our members. Of course, 6 people say no. That translated to 9%. And some are neither here or there. Maybe they are still thinking. So 23 of them say maybe. I know we'll get them. For these people, this year, they will join this 41. And God that will hit that 100% mark. Put them together for this. Okay, is there any comments, questions, any notes, anything you want to ask about this? Okay. All right. About this survey, please.
I noticed that in your presentation, most of the pie charts, there is always this 1% of the sample always saying for or not being contented with most of the things you try to get their feedback on. So I'm wondering, did you bother to get back to this person to really know the reason why he's giving such a rating? And I want to know if that has been addressed, because to me it just seems like somebody has a survey and is just trying to complete it. You know, there are sometimes you don't bother to look at the question that they have to just click whatsoever and go to next, a kind of a thing. So I want to know if you really get back to that person to know the feedback. Thank you.
The survey is quite nice and portrays a very good image for Ixpn, which is very good. But sometimes surveys are the first question mentioned. Some people don't even look, they just keep ticking and ticking. So I don't know, for the service performance part, does Ixpn rate itself? Do you have a monitoring tool that tells you actually how your service is, so that internally you are able to rate yourself also and know what you sell about your service? So if somebody says he's satisfied, does it have a value to you? Is it 99%? Is it 99.5%? So I don't know if Ixpn has an internal system with which it gets the value of its service itself.
The 1-1 mark we saw there, that 1% that goes across the very pie chart, we also discovered, I may not say if we call or ask, but we discovered that after some investigation, that the question was not really understood, and that was why it went across in most of the questions. 1 across. A particular member have that across. We later investigated and understood that it was not really well understood. So that may be a kind of oversight on that very member.
Thank you for that question. Yes, every month, in fact, weekly basis, the network team evaluates every aspect of our network to ensure stability. We have all the necessary monitoring tools, to ensure that our links, our ops everywhere is up. And on a monthly basis, we have a meeting with all the staff, and we evaluate all the links based on the percentage of downtime, based on the quality of service, the jitters on those links and all that. So yes, we have an internal. If we don't do that, you cannot improve what is not measured. You understand? So it's only with measurement that every single year you tend to see how you can improve on that. So we have an internal mechanism to evaluate ourselves and to give ourselves ranking based on the services that we deliver to our members. Thank you.
We want to really appreciate 3 of our members that we are the first 3 that filled out the annual survey from last year. We want to invite the MD to come and help us to present these gifts. The MD and CEO of Ixpn, Mr. Mohammed Rudman. The 3rd position, based on the timing, is Cool Link, otherwise called Radical Technology. Put them together. I hope they have a representation here. The 2nd position goes to Internet Solution of Nigeria. I'm sure they are here. Put them together.
An appreciation for filling the survey forms on time, because we had the first 3 people that submitted, 3 organizations that submitted. So second organization, thank you so much. Thank you, I appreciate you. Thank you.
The first member on the list that quickly filled that form is not a company than IDS Africa. I hope they are here. IDS Africa. Wow. Yes. Okay, we'll get these prizes to them. I know I called them this morning. They did the distance and where they are. So we'll get across to them. So we want to appreciate you all. We're also not saying that you did amazing last year. Of course, we need to appreciate the first 3. So this year, the survey will be back. I want you to express your mind. Tell us what you feel and what you think you desire, so that we'll design a tailor-made service that will be of great value to your business. Thank you very much as we proceed.
It's 2023 Business Milestones Achievement to be done by none other than the MDC, Mr. Mohammed Rudman.
Internet, the word, was coined by Vincent Cerf in one of the requests for comments. It means inter-network, different networks coming together. Where those networks meet It's called a network access point and later evolved to become what is called an internet exchange point. So an internet exchange point is a physical facility that interconnects service providers, not necessarily internet service providers, but any other network that has IP resources. So next slide, just so that you can understand that. So what is our history? How did it all begin? Other countries of the world had internet exchange points. South Africa had, Kenya had, South Africa in 1996, Kenya in 2000. So in 2005, Obasanjo traveled to World Summit on Information Society. That was the first one in the world. This World Summit on Information Society came together for one reason. Who knows what was the reason? Have you heard of Global Internet Governance Forum? Internet governance. Right now there is what is called Internet Governance Forum. Global, it happens in West Africa, it happens in Africa, it happens in Nigeria. Because the internet really grew to become really huge. And is controlled by America, because the entire internet started from America. All the global root servers were controlled by America, and therefore America can't shut down the internet, because there was an organization called ICANN, Internet Corporation for Assigned Name and Numbers, through IANA, Internet Assigned Numbers Authority, at once controlling all the IP resources, all the DNS root servers. So for the rest of the world, China, Russia, and the rest, they wanted to see if they can create a parallel internet or find a way to ensure that ICANN, as an organization, do not report to United States. Rather, it's a multi-stakeholder organization. So in 2005, Obasanjo was there. There were discussions around internet exchange points and domestication of traffic. Obasanjo immediately reached out to the Federal Ministry of Communications and NCC to say, look, we want to establish an internet exchange point in Nigeria. And in 2006, in February, NCC called a stockholders meeting of the people that are in the industry to say, we want to establish an exchange point. NCC, being a regulator, cannot run a network, and therefore they called the industry. And at that time, the main association was called Ixpn, Internet Service Providers Association of Nigeria. They were giving the seed funding to set up the Internet Exchange Point of Nigeria. And later, NCC registered the organization called Internet Exchange Point of Nigeria as a not-for-profit organization, a neutral organization, and a membership-based organization. And the NCC inaugurates an interim board in 2007. Why am I explaining this? Because a lot of people don't understand really, is it government-owned, is it private-owned? So this exchange was actually set up as a membership-based organization. So it's a membership-based organization. We are a not-for-profit organization, and it's a kind of public-private partnership between government and the industry. So what is the role of Internet Exchange Point? One is keeping Nigeria's internet traffic local, right? By networks coming together, they interconnect, that traffic remains within Nigeria. It reduces cost of access to local content, because as long as your content is outside Nigeria and you have to reach it internationally, you have to go through the submarine cables, through all the different networks to reach your content, and that is expensive. It enhances connectivity and improves internet experience for end users. If the traffic is local and everybody is connected to that, it makes it faster, it promotes and encourages creation of local content, builds technical skills and capacity, act as an efficient centralized service hub point. This, for example, the build technical capacity at Ixpn will be providing trainings, capacity building, but right now we really want to expand that. We've had feedback from our members on what specific areas do you want us to train on. So the intention is almost every other month or almost every month we'll provide capacity building for our members. Next slide. So this really internet exchange point is the cornerstone, is the link that interconnects the entire ecosystem. Because what you need for you to have internet access, to have internet ecosystem, you need to have the electricity, right? That's the fundamentals. You need to have the fiber optic cables, you need to have the submarine cables. Those are the backbone connectivity. Then the interconnectivity. between educational institutions, ISPs, banks, and that is where IXPs comes. If you have an IXP and it's flourishing, it means you have very cheap internet access. It gives opportunity for data centers to evolve. Before Ixpn, there was no single carrier neutral data center in Nigeria. In fact, we had to build our own pop. We were the first co-location partners of Medallion, because Medallion is among the first set of carrier neutral data center in Nigeria. And based on that, we start seeing more data centers coming into Nigeria. With more data centers coming into Nigeria, content starts to be domesticated, and when you have content, you now have the real value, and all other things fall into place. So we are the link in terms of the technical infrastructure required for the growth of the ecosystem. Next slide, please. So this is how we grew. In 2008, the traffic was barely 2, 3, 4 Mbps. We had all the service providers, some of the service providers interconnected. Why is the traffic so low? Who can answer that? Why is the traffic at that time, even though we had some of the major service providers interconnected, the traffic is low? Yes, please.
I think as at then, people are not cash with you.
Correct. There is no content network. Because you see, eyeball networks, if you have to categorize on the internet, there are two kinds of networks. Eyeball networks and content networks. And it keeps increasing in 2019. In 2012, in 2019, it has reached 165, 68 gigabits per second. It grew in 2021. Now in November, it's 520 gigabits per second. And this is the growth over the years of the internet exchange point. Next slide, please. To see it graphically, this is it. So you can see from 2013 is less than a gig, 2014, 2 gig, 4 gig, 21, you can see the jump to where we are right now at 540. As we speak, it reaches 600 gigabits per second. And with what is going to happen next year, Benjamin here, my friend, was telling me that we'll see a boom this year because some other content providers are planning to come into the country. And with more content providers, it means more increase in traffic. Right now, as we speak, we have 116 members and we're counting. We're in 7 POPs in Lagos. We're in Interconnect Clearing House in Marina. We're in Medallion, we're in Rack Center, we're in MDX, we're in Cloud Exchange, we're in Africa Data Center, and recently we're in Open Access Data Center. We're about to make the announcement, but the site is officially active. Should you want to connect to the Open Access Data Center today, you can connect. So we have 5 additional POPs in different locations. We're in Abuja, in Port Harcourt, in Kano, in Enugu, and recently in Gombe. Total autonomous system numbers in Nigeria right now is around 260. Okay, South Africa roughly has around 784 autonomous system numbers, almost 800. And their South African population is only 60 million. Only 43 million of South Africans are on the internet. Nigeria has 220 million people, right? Out of it's around 159 million based on NCC records are on the internet, and about 80-something million are on broadband. Yet, we have very small autonomous system numbers, only 206 for the entire country. What does this show you? It means that you have very small networks. So as we speak, 95% of all internet users are using the mobile network. In fact, it's higher than that. Based on the reports of NCC, it's much higher. Out of the 186 million, only around 400,000 are on a fixed wired and fixed wireless. And what Ixpn we are trying to do is to see how we can encourage all these small service providers to evolve and to come and to provide service. Because the only way to have real broadband is to have the fixed wired and the fixed wireless through a local ISP. So we are now going into what we have achieved in 2023, right? right? In 2023, we partnered with Netflix, and they sent us servers. We are providing the co-location for those servers. We are providing the transit, the internet capacity to fill those caches, right? In Lagos, we upgraded the Google Global Cache. I don't want to give the specifics, but we have installed it to increase the capacity of the GGC servers. We have also, our technical team have configured BGP Community. BGP Community gives you access to, changing your configurations using the community to allow or disallow certain networks to peer, to connect with you, or to enjoy some other services. These are our future plans. So right now we want to push for more connections of IXPs from other African countries, IXPs and ISPs. So we had internet service providers from Niger, from Cameroon reaching out to us to see how we can connect. In fact, for some of them, they have even got connected. So any regional ISP that is willing to connect, we are really willing to bend over backwards to accommodate them in terms of reduction of cost, waivers. Why are we doing this? Because we want Nigeria to be the main hub of internet content in West Africa. If you have ISPs from neighboring countries connecting to Nigeria, what will happen is that the global content providers will see those IPs in Nigeria. It means that when they want to host content in Nigeria, if they put it in Nigeria, those other countries can fetch into it. As we speak, South Africa is the hub of internet content in the entire African continent. You know that, right? In terms of megawatts of power, South Africa has over 200 megawatts of data center IT power. Nigeria has less than 20. In fact, less than 10. So I think that's all. I will stop here. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for listening. So what we'll do is, this is a very, very important time for us to interact. Anything you think you want to know about our services, about our operations, about anything, please do not hesitate to ask.
Based on the review you give now, I don't know if there's anything you're planning to do about that to reduce the outages within the experience, or the packet losses within the experience on a weekly or a monthly basis. Thank you.
That's the only cycle that we've been having issues with. We have changed providers, we still experience the same thing. What we need to do is to ensure that we have 2 links for full redundancy. Unfortunately, we have only 2 customers in Port Harcourt, right? And we are right now paying that 1.something million naira for 1 link. If I add the link, that is 3 million naira. What the revenues I'm getting in Port Harcourt are not up to 300,000. So you can't build a dollar fence around pennies when when the revenue are really getting, So it's a big problem, and honestly, we're trying to see how we can solve that problem, because it all boils down to costs.
I just want to understand how your efforts in channel towards replicating your resources across all your hubs, evening it out. Asking because in my former experience with Layer 3, we have a pairing between Lagos, and we're generating over 3 gig of bandwidth from Abuja, destined to your pairing in Lagos. So when we heard about your presence in Abuja, it was quite exciting. But we had that pairing and noticed that we're only having about 500 meg of that 3 gig going to your Abuja pairing, and then the rest of it still going to Lagos. So, and the aim of reducing that cost and burden on us was a bit defeated. So I want to know what efforts you're putting in place to even the resources across all groups.
For Abuja and others, let me tell you what's happening. We across Lagos, we have a layer 2 connectivity, so members can run anything. In fact, one ISP can buy transit from another ISP through our links. When there was a submarine cable failure some 2 years back or thereabout, we see huge increase in traffic because they are exchanging internet capacity. But for most of our remote locations, what we noticed initially was that, for example, between Lagos and Abuja, because we had a link, all of a sudden, an internet service provider will want to buy transit from a Lagos internet service provider while he's in Abuja, and he will use our link, not for domestication of traffic, to just carry the link. Like, if you're an ISP in Abuja, you're paying for that link, right? So now they want to just ride on Ixpn for free. We quickly decided to block that and put a router to ensure that network of Abuja is completely different from the network of Lagos. And will only allow certain services to run, because if we leave it as layer 2, we can't sustain it, because your own traffic you said is what, 3 gig. If I'm to pay for that 3 gig, I'm paying 5 million naira. And what you will be paying me in Abuja most likely is 300 or 500,000 naira. So I'll be paying 4.5 million naira on your behalf because you want to enjoy the service. So the POPs that we are setting up in those locations honestly are not meant for the big places. Like MTN trying to say, okay, Ixpn, please, I want to connect in Abuja and run my traffic through you. I'm not going to sustain it. The whole traffic will come back to Lagos. I will go back to them buying the capacity so that they can use the same capacity. I will not tell you the company. One company wanted us to do that, to buy capacity from them so that they can run their traffic through us again. It doesn't make sense. So what we are doing is encourage the smaller service providers that have 50, 100, 200 Mbps, right, to really scale and grow. It's not meant for the big players to interconnect so that they can exchange huge traffic, because the more capacity they are using, the more we will pay for that.
My question is regarding the education, because I know it's like a subject that is very important for you. And like you mentioned, we've done Work Online and Ixpn collaborated in a few events last year in terms of educating the network service provider in Nigeria. And I want to ask you a question in terms of like, how can we build that even further, and how can we assist even more the ecosystem in Nigeria grow from a small operator that is just reselling the ASM to an established ASM that needs BGP training or IPv6 training, or like I saw at pushing for manners, and our CTO Ben Madison was one of the co-writers of like the manners protocol. So I really want to hear from you where we could get even more involved in the next future to help you grow the business.
Thank you so much, Benji. Benji, since they came into Nigeria, he has been highly supportive to see how they can add value. It means that they are here not for the short term, they are here for the long term. When you see an organization trying to see how they can add value, it means they are not just coming to take and go, but they are coming to see and how they can add value. So thank you so much for that. When we're organizing manners, please, let's reach out to them. What we need is trainers. If anybody has the technical skills to provide good training and a good topic, either in Lagos or anywhere outside of Lagos, we are willing to pay for that, and we can organize events. If there is a particular state you want us to be in, to do a training for example, for educational institutions, please let us know. Let's work together and do it. But thank you so much, Benjamin, for that offer. We will fully take advantage of that.
I've looked at the page where you highlighted plans that we have for 2024. I don't know, do you have a plan for implementing our PKI validation in the next future?
Yes, so part of it is the manners. I mentioned mutually acceptable routing norms. Manners, right? Ixpn is trying to implement that as Ixpn. And then what we want to do is when we implement, we now encourage others to do. And it's all because of the internet security that matters, right? So that's what we're going into, and we're going to provide capacity building on that as well.
If there's any plan in place already that Ixpn in conjunction with other IXs across Africa to have interconnection, such that across the whole African region, we can have connections across Africa. Is there anything going on in that regard?
We partnered with Ghana Exchange Point to interconnect Ghana and Nigeria, right? And we got the division of the link from Dolphin Telecoms to experiment to see whether is there any traffic between Ghana and Nigeria. And we did, and there was traffic between the two countries. But they offered us a service period, I think it was 6 months. After that, we were supposed to pay for the link between Ghana and Nigeria. But unfortunately, we could not
pay for that link because the cost of the link between Ghana and Lagos, between Accra and Lagos, is a little bit higher than for you to get internet access in Ghana. Am I making sense? So if you cost per megabits per second, if it's from Ghana to London, you buy internet link, maybe it's $10. But from Ghana to Lagos is $11. There is no business justification for a service provider in Ghana to connect to Nigeria, even though there is lower latency, but the price is a little bit higher. So we couldn't sustain that. Another thing is the politics. I was in Ghana, the minister was there. Their thinking is, why would Nigeria, because the traffic is actually coming from Ghana to Nigeria, not the reverse, not Nigerians going to Ghana. So who is supposed to pay for that link? Ghanaians are supposed to pay for that link. Because if you have more of download than upload, it means that you are benefiting from the other. So they are benefiting from Nigeria. They said, no, why would you be paid to connect to Nigeria? I said, well, this is the link utilization is more of download than upload. Then the politics of, if we are going to now, it means that eventually you will grow, we will stay here. No. They don't want. You understand? I was in Abidjan. I said, let's see how we can connect. The guy said, no. They know that Nigeria has more content than Abidjan, and therefore they will not encourage us to grow more. Because if they go connected to us, it means more content providers will come and domesticate more content here. So we found that to be really difficult.
So we have a raffle draw. And to pick this first raffle draw, please can I have the pleasure of having Mr. Wale? Yes, Mr. Wale, please let's appreciate him as he comes. Okay. The first name here is Biobaku Oluwatobi. Biobaku Oluwatobi. Welcome from Africa. Okay. The second raffle draw winner is Williams Adebayo. Interesting. Can we have the gifts? Mr. Ramon Bello. All the backbenchers are just winning.
Those of us that stay on the mainland, thank you for braving the unusual traffic from that location. To honor us with your presence. We appreciate that. When I joined Ixpn 3-4 years ago, the average week traffic was around 120 gigs. Now we are pushing 600. That incredible number would not have been possible without your support, without your cooperation, because you answered calls like this. That's why we are able to make progress. And I want to assure you that we have heard your complaints, we have heard your comments and the feedbacks, and we are taking them into serious consideration. We are poised to serve you better, and we encourage you to always reach out to us, the technical department, for example, if you have any technical issue whatsoever. If you need any sort of support, we are here to support you and to ensure that, because if you grow, the Ixpn also grows too. So thank you once again, and have a safe trip back to your various destinations.
The idea is to bring all the members of Internet Exchange Point to brief them on the activities that and projects and initiatives that we have done last year, and also our plan in 2024 and also beyond. Yes, so and we want to make it as interactive as possible for members. Those are the customers of Exchange Point, to open up, to interact with us, to ask us all the questions, and for us to provide the feedback that they have given us, because we did a survey in 2023, and the feedback, the result of that survey was shared with all the members, and for us to to hear from them all the issues, the challenges they are facing, and what areas they want us to improve on, and what areas they want us to focus on in terms of service delivery. Some of the challenges they mentioned, some of them are actually beyond us, because it entails paying for a lot of capacity to interconnect some of the remote POPs that we have in Nigeria, some of the locations that we do not have mast, to see how we can provide a mast into those locations. So yes, we've heard them, and we are going to take back whatever they said here, and we are serious about it and we intend to implement.
The goal of establishing this forum is to further interact with our members to understand their pain points, to really feel their pulse. There are some questions, there are some concerns they may not have felt or made us known through the email or written conversation. This forum is aimed at having that direct discussion.
The way forward, honestly, with Ixpn is to keep listening to our customers, to be available and accessible to our customers, especially smaller internet service providers across Nigeria, so that they can have affordable internet, and for Nigerians also to have faster internet experience by having a lot of content providers, global content providers, come into Nigeria and to provide those services in Nigeria.
This event is important to us to understand the impact Ixpn has, in the internet ICT ecosystem. It has been an enlightening event so far. The managing director at Ixpn has done a fantastic job at enlightening members of this group, of Ixpn group.
I really appreciate Ixpn for organizing this membership forum. It was really an interactive section where we even know the view about where the company is going and the values they are adding to the ecosystems. And we really appreciate their effort so far in providing an internet exchange. And in this section, I really learned a lot about how they all started, the future plan they had, and how we can be more partners in the coming future.
It's quite exciting to be here. It was a very insightful event. While the CEO was speaking, Mr. Mohammed, you could notice and see that he's speaking from a very large wealth of experience and of knowledge. So we understood better from the Ixpn perspective the challenge that are being faced in making internet content domicile in Nigeria and spread across all regions within the country.